Hello and welcome back to the channel. This fancy box has a laptop inside from a new player in this space called Geekom. You may have heard of them if you ever looked for a mini PC, but this is their first attempt at creating a laptop. Geekom is a global brand with headquarters in Shenzhen, China, but they also have a US warehouse. Judging by the success of their mini PCs and how the market reacted to those, I'm sure this laptop is also a contender in the budget performance laptop segment. Enough rambling, let's check out the box. On the front there is a nice large logo, and on the back we have a sticker with the laptop name. The specific SKU is equipped with an Intel Ultra 9 185H CPU, 32 gigs of LPDDR5X memory, the display is 16 inches, and for storage we have a 2TB NVMe SSD. Now that we got this out of the way, let's see what's inside the box. There are two cards here, one for you to extend the warranty, and a nice thank you note with some company history on the back. Following up, looks like we have a charging cable here. It is nicely braided. And the length is 180 centimeters, which is going to be plenty for you to plug it into a wall and not be tethered. Next, the power adapter. And it seems to be a 65-watt gallium nitride unit. And if we look on the back, we can see all the USB PD protocols it supports. After that is the star of the show, the laptop itself. It comes in this nice protective recycled sleeve. We'll set it aside for now. And lastly, looks like some instructions. Yep, user manual for this specific model. Seems it has English, German, French, basically all the other languages that you would need. Let's remove this sleeve. It's a super nice matte finish on the top. Doesn't look like it will attract any fingerprints. On the back, I like to see these nice raised feet, both front and back. That way it creates a path for the airflow to get underneath and actually reach the vents. We also see here the grills for the two speakers and some more information along with the serial number for this specific model. Let's check out the ports while we are here. On the right side we have a micro SD card reader, two USB ports and a headphone microphone combo jack. And on the left we have USB Type-C, HDMI and another USB Type-C. One of these you'll use for charging and the other one for any other USB devices. So let's open it up. I like that they included this piece of cloth, that way they protect the screen from any dirt that might get in here. And also super nice, they printed it out with boot instructions, so apparently for the first time use we will need to have it plugged in, which is good to know. It saves us from the frustration of trying to power it on and it not happening. And then, again as on the box, we can see it's equipped with an Intel Core Ultra 9. Of course it has Intel Arc graphics integrated. There's almost no play on the chassis, which is great. Seems super sturdy, and that makes sense since I have seen the chassis is made out of magnesium alloy, which is great. It's a super sturdy material. It looks like we have a German layout keyboard, again with minimal play. We'll get to a keyboard test later, but from an initial test, It seems pretty good to type on. Let me get this plugged in, charged a little bit, and then we can have a look at the experience overall. There is a nice little neat light next to the USB-C port that can tell you when it's charging or full, and it also acts as a power on indicator. Along the top, we have a 2-megapixel camera with a privacy shutter that turns orange when the camera is blocked, so you have a definitive visual indicator. Flanking the camera, we have a set of stereo microphones. The screen is big, right at 16 inches, and it's following the industry trend of using 16:10 as the aspect ratio, which means you'll get more space on the top and the bottom compared to the previous 16:9 ratio. This is great for productivity, working on spreadsheets or documents, editing videos. Basically, it makes everything better. Resolution on this bad boy is 2560 by 1600, and the gamers among you will rejoice because it's a refresh rate of 120 Hz. This means everything from day-to-day activities to games will feel more smooth, fluid, and natural. The panel is matte, so reflections will be greatly reduced, and its type is IPS, which makes sense when you're trying to hit the budget segment, as it frees up some funds to be directed to other things, like a more powerful CPU, extra RAM, or storage. The colors on this display are looking true to life, and the only downside I can see here is the maximum brightness, capping out at 400 nits, meaning you won't be doing any work outdoor in bright sunlight. The battery is generous at 77 Wh, and combining that with the lack of a discrete GPU means you will spend less time plugged in, and depending on your workflow and style, this battery can easily last you the whole day. Integrated in the wireless card, we find Bluetooth 5.4, and we also have support for Wi-Fi 6E on this model, so if your Wi-Fi router is compatible, that results in blazing fast speeds for video streaming, file transfers, or Linux ISO downloads. Speaking of operating systems, this laptop comes preloaded with Windows 11 version 22H2. Of course, when you receive it, check for the latest updates and install them, especially if they are security updates. It's refreshing to see laptops nowadays coming with an OS already installed. It saves you the trouble of finding a USB key, making a Windows drive, and installing it. This was not a standard years ago, especially on budget laptops. A nice inclusion is the fingerprint reader embedded in the power button. It works well and is very useful when you don't want to sign in with a PIN, but also don't want to have your camera on for Windows Hello. Basically, very convenient, and I like it. Moving on to the keyboard, it has 4 levels of backlight, easily adjustable from the F1 function key. From very dim, perfect in very low light scenarios, to pretty bright, which I guess works well in a classroom. In any case, it is highly appreciated. Let's test this keyboard some more. It feels interesting. As I mentioned before, there is no flex in the laptop frame itself, but because the keys are the standard laptop low-profile type, they feel pretty mushy. I guess I'm getting picky, it's a laptop after all, but the overall premium feeling this model gives me does not really align with the keyboard typing experience. The layout is good, has a full number pad, and again, this specific one is in German flavor. Moving on to the touchpad, I love to see that it's nice and large. With a single swipe, you can go from each corner to each corner effortlessly. It supports multi-touch gestures for scrolling, navigation, moving between screens and so on. Something to keep in mind is it only registers click on the bottom edge, not on the whole touchpad. And there's a distinct rattle when you tap on it in the middle. This doesn't happen towards the edges, and it may be a defect my specific model developed in transit. I want to open it up to see the cooling solution and also discuss if there are any upgrade options down the line. For this, you'll need a Torx T4 screwdriver. After we remove the 9 screws, we pop the clips, and voila, the rear cover comes off. I appreciate that there are no hidden screws, as they should always be easily accessible. Even if you cannot upgrade anything, cleaning is still important. At a first glance, the memory is soldered to the motherboard, so that is not upgradable. We have here an empty 2230 PCIe slot for an SSD, and also, if the included SSD ever gets full, you can replace this one as well, as it's a standard 2280 NVMe form factor. Looking under the thermal pad, we can see it's a crucial P310 from Micron. As usual with these laptops, the battery takes up almost half the space, and to each side of that we have the speakers. We will test those later. The cooling solution consists of a big heat pipe spanning across from the CPU to these two fans, which means ample airflow, and it will need it. As we saw on the box, the CPU is very powerful, the Intel Core Ultra 9 185H. I will close it back up and start doing some benchmarks and show you what this puppy can do. Testing session begins with Cinebench 2024. For those not familiar with Cinebench, it's a piece of software used for benchmarking processors, both in single core and multi-core. It renders a 3D scene continuously, and depending on how fast it renders, it assigns a score. This is a reliable and repeatable way to compare different CPUs, as single core performance matters in day-to-day activities like web surfing, watching videos, etc., as well as in gaming. Multi-core performance will shine in applications optimized for that, like video and photo editing, some games, heavy file transfers, and archiving. Another way this software is helpful is in comparing different laptop cooling solutions and power delivery designs. For example, if two laptops get massively different scores, let's say around 200 points apart, that shows us one laptop had much better cooling, therefore allowing the CPU to boost higher. I will open Hardware Monitor. So for your reference, the temperatures around the performance cores are 95, 97 degrees, and on the efficiency cores, 83, 84 degrees. It looks like the performance cores are boosting to 3.2, 3.3 GHz, and the E-cores to 2.5, 2.4 GHz. While the test is running, we can also listen to the fans. The laptop is not on any stand or cooling pad, so this is the sound you can expect. Definitely not the loudest fan I've heard, but also not quiet. I'll let the benchmark run for a few more minutes, and let's see the score. Okay, so for multi-core we have 758 points. Now let's also start a single core benchmark. And it looks like for single core we have around 60 points. I will stop the test now. While this laptop is not marketed as a gaming monster, it can still run some games decently on the Intel Arc GPU. Let's try Are We There Yet? A super fun game you can play with your friends. This is not the most demanding game out there, of course, but as you can see, it runs perfectly fine. I would say this is an enjoyable experience. Now let's take a look at the graphics settings. So we're at 1680 by 1050 resolution, medium quality, anti-aliasing is FXAA, and VSync is turned off. And we maxed out the frames per second at 300, and as you can see, just in the start of the game, we're looking at right around 60 FPS, which is perfectly fine for this type of game. It's not a competitive shooter, you don't need hundreds of FPS, and I'm pretty sure you would enjoy playing this at this frame rate. What this laptop is really designed for is day-to-day use, office work, online browsing, and so on. And since nowadays most people are doing their work in a browser anyway, lots of CPU cores and RAM memory is exactly what's needed. We all know Chrome and other web browsers love to eat more and more memory, so the included 32 GB will be plenty for the foreseeable future. Let's run Crystal Disk Mark to see the performance of the included 2 TB SSD. We're gonna set this to 4 GB file size and run all sequential reads and writes. As you can see, for sequential read speeds, we have almost 7 GB per second, and for writes, over 6 GB per second, which is going to be plenty for any kind of work you're going to be doing with this laptop. Since this is a day-to-day machine, Let's listen to the speakers. Okay, the speakers are very crisp and clear even at maximum volume, with no distortions, and that is great. There is a distinct lack of bass though, something to keep in mind if that matters for you. So let's wrap this up. The X16 is a great value laptop with lots of CPU cores and memory for any task you might throw at it. It is not a gaming machine, nor does it claim to be. The screen is big and sharp, the colors are accurate, and the battery is what you would expect from a 16-inch device. If you are interested in picking one up, there's gonna be a link down in the video description. And if you enjoyed this review, consider leaving a like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.